A new report shows Cyclone Gabrielle was one of the most extreme landslide triggering events ever recorded globally. The findings from Earth Sciences New Zealand estimate more than 800,000 landslides were caused by Gabrielle, the 2023 cyclone that killed 11 people and destroyed thousands of homes. Engineering geologist Dr. Chris Massey led the study and joins me now. Kia ora, Dr. Massey. So 800,000 landslides. Did the findings surprise you, and how on earth did you measure that?
Yeah, I mean, we know in New Zealand that if you get a lot of rain, you get a lot of landslides. I think what was surprising was just the fact that the rain just covered such a huge region, from Northland all the way down to north of Wairarapa and even, parts of north of Wellington. Although Hawke's Bay and Tairāwhiti were the main areas that were impacted, just the sheer area, of the country where those high rainfalls occurred was quite kind of amazing, really. We mapped the landslides using satellite imagery and also aerial imagery that was captured by various councils and government agencies after the event. And we organised like an army of students from pretty much every university in the country that had the skills to help us with the mapping, and we mapped in a systematic way to try to capture them quickly, but efficiently, but also accurately.
To put it into perspective, Dr. Massey, that's more than the amount caused by the 2008 Sichuan earthquake in China that killed more than 69,000 people. So what was it about Cyclone Gabrielle that caused so many landslides?
Yeah, it was a combination of factors, but the rainfall is the trigger. But then the other factors are things like the soil, the slopes, the materials that cover the slopes, like the vegetation. And when you combine all those different factors, then you can cause quite a lot of landslides. And just the sheer amount of rain across the region, the rain intensities were pretty large, like Cyclone Bowler in 1988 was kind of like the nearest kind of equivalent, kind of a similar rain event that caused similar levels of landsliding.
So now that we know this, what is the value in it? I guess I'm asking, how can what you've found be used to prepare for future extreme weather events?
Well, it's really useful because it allows us to quantify the relationships between rainfall, soil moisture, geology, soil, land cover like vegetation, slope angle. And it allows us to use those models to forecast what might happen in the future. And so what that means is when there's another rain event coming in the future, then it means that we can actually forecast the number of landslides and where they're likely to occur, which means that we can use those models to help underpin land use planning and agricultural changes, agricultural planning. So they're really, really valuable. And I hope that, people will be using them for decades to come, the data sets, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating stuff. In the study, you reported that just over 8% of the world's population live in landslide-prone areas. So I'm curious about what the percentage is in New Zealand and whether this should now play a role in perhaps deciding where people should live.
Well, I mean, that's a really good question. I can't answer you, to be honest. In New Zealand, we haven't done the study, but what we can say is that when you drive around, you can see a lot of people and a lot of houses living on people living on slopes and houses located on slopes, and a lot of our critical infrastructure is sited on slopes. So it's really important that we start to understand where those landslides can occur, and then we can plan for them in the future. And if we have to, we can kind of avoid them. So these kind of data sets that we're capturing now really underpin those future kind of land use changes and land use kind of decision making.
Thank you so much for your time today, Dr. Chris Massey, there, engineering geologist at Earth Sciences New Zealand.
Thank
Tēnā
you.
koe.